Thanks. So today I'm going to be talking about Nike and ethics as it relates to their organizational structure. And throughout the 1990s and 2000s, we've all heard about some of Nike's unethical labor practices, and it's really came to a point where Nike had to do something about it. They realized there was an issue, and the past couple years, Nike's taken numerous actions to address their ethics as it relates to their organizational structure. So to look at their structure, let's first look at the top executive who is responsible for ethics at Nike, and her name is Hannah Jones. Hannah Jones is the Vice President of Sustainable Business and Innovation, and again, she is responsible for all the ethical practices and procedures that go on at Nike. With that, Hannah does not just report to one person. She actually reports to the Corporate Responsibility Committee. And to uphold transparency, she reports to this committee to make sure that when any ethical dilemmas arise, she knows that she has corporate interests and social interests in mind and makes the right decision. So let's go back to the Corporate Responsibility Committee that she reports to. That committee is made up of 12 members, and 10 of them are actually independent members of this committee. They meet 5 times per year, and each time they meet, they have either the CEO and or the chairman who is in the meeting as well. Now, to talk a little bit about what the Corporate Responsibility Committee do, they have 3 pillars that they focus on. They focus on labor practices, environmental issues, and then diversity in the workplace. As we begin to move down the corporate structure at Nike, they also have a committee called the Sustainable Innovation Committee, and that is made up of not only Hannah Jones, but it's also made up of the CEO, it's made up of the strategy team at Nike, and they focus on labor practice, but they also go a little bit further and they speak or they discuss and promote better practices of manufacturing and make sure it's more effective. And just as an example of the project they just finished in 2012, they created a manufacturing index. And what this index does is it measures Nike's plants against each other as it refers to labor practices, safety conditions, and just the environmental overall. And what they did, they also teamed with the Fair Laborers Association, which is a worldwide association that promotes labor practices, to implement this manufacturing index. As we start to move further down the line to mid-managers, Nike also has a human resource management tool that enables mid-managers to interact with this software that teaches them on ethical practices and procedures with Nike, and then also shows them how to implement and execute these practices and address any ethical dilemmas. Then we move down to our frontline employees. They also have a tool that is called their Sustainable Management Training Tool, and that is also an interactive software program that teaches them policies and procedures throughout Nike. The last thing, as we finish up speaking about the frontline employees, there's also forums for them to speak out against or for the ethical practices and procedures that's going on in any segment they're working in. These committees report directly to Hannah Jones, who is the Vice President of Sustainable Business and Innovation. Some of these committees are the Latino Employee Friends Network, they have the Asian Pacific Friends Network, and they also have the Disabled Employee Friends Network. So all these committees meet together, speak about the ethical policies and procedures, and then report directly to Hannah Jones. And as we looked at the organizational structure as it refers to Nike as a whole, they do have a really healthy structure that promotes ethics in any segment of their business. So to speak about training, I'm going to pass it off to Tom. Thanks.